6 p.m. in Bafmen in the Menchum division of the northwest region of Cameroon, same time in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the primetime newscast on Equinoxe television with me. For me, I'm Sean Sanda. Nigeria's independent people of Biafra movement leader Nnamdi Kanu has been jailed for life. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced or declared guilty of terrorism by a court in Abuja today in what his lawyers qualify as a politically motivated trial. The Fano region of Cameroon is slowly rebuilding after facing severe challenges indicating including desertification, armed attacks, and economic hardship. The Resilac program is providing vital support to local communities, offering training, resources, and opportunities to young people in the Fano region of Cameroon to improve their livelihood and also access to basic services. And on to politics, as the dust proves stubborn to settle on the post-electoral unrest in Cameroon. Tomorrow, Friday, November 21st, 2025, has been picked as a day of national mourning by candidate Issa Chiroma Bakari, presidential hopeful. The politician says it is a day to pay homage to those who lost their lives during the post-electoral protest against the results, which his protesters like him continue to protest as declared by the court in Cameroon. These stories and more will be yours in this edition of the news. Now, once again, we're glad you are choosing to be informed by the best of television network Equinoxe. This is live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city, Equinoxe Central News Desk. We're starting with this note coming into our new studios from the neighboring Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Biafran separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu has been sentenced to life imprisonment on terrorism-related charges by the court in Nigeria's capital Abuja. Judge James Omotosho, who prosecuted or said prosecutor, has shown that Nnamdi Kanu, who also holds a British citizenship, has used his indigenous people of Biafra group to incite attacks on security officials in Nigeria and civilians in the southeastern states of Nigeria, and during a protest in the political or the economic capital of the city, Lagos. Kanu, 58, who had dismissed his legal team or indicated that he was not guilty, was brought to Nigeria from an arrest which remains controversial in the Eastern African nation of Egypt. His trial, as I indicated, has so far been qualified by his lawyers as politically motivated. The decision was taken today by a court in the Federal Republic of Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Now, we stay out of our territorial boundaries, Cameroon, to say that at least 3 worshippers have been killed and many others abducted in the Kwara state of Nigeria after a group of armed individuals attacked a church during worship, while the French President Emmanuel Macron is on a 5-day tour of the African continent. He's expected to be in Port Louis in the Mauritius Island, and on Thursday and later will visit some African countries, with details contained in a foreign news report by Mala Glory.
The attack at Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, Kara State in Nigeria occurred just after members of the church gathered for a meeting, killing 3 worshippers and abducting many. Witnesses said the attackers entered the church compound, firing their weapons, causing worshippers to flee in different directions. Those who couldn't flee were held at gunpoint and forced into nearby forest path that link Eruku with surrounding villages. And elsewhere, Emmanuel Macron is expected in Port Louis, the capital of Mauritius, this Thursday. The first stop on a 5-day trip that will then take him to South Africa, Gabon and Angola. It is the first visit by the French president since François Mitterrand in 1993, with objective to improve a political relationship considered strained. It comes at a tense regional time as the recent coup in Madagascar has reignited resentment against France, which some accuse of interference following the infiltration of former President Andry Rajoelina. And in Senegal, signs of conflict are beginning to show within the Senegal's top leadership as differences emerge between President Bassirou Diomaye Faye and Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko. The two leaders who rose to power on a shared reform platform are now reported to be at odds over recent adjustment made within their ruling coalition. Sonko is said to be uneasy with several decisions taken by the president without wider consultation. Analysts say the disagreement goes beyond the latest appointments or political maneuver. The friction highlights deeper questions about how quickly and how boldly the government should push ahead with its promised reforms. These include anti-corruption drives, changes to structure of state institutions, and efforts to clean up governance. The emerging rift has prompted concern among governance experts who worry that a prolonged standoff could unsettle the coalition at the critical moment. However, both leaders are still in power.
And in a related story, human rights defenders and civil society actors continue to raise their voices with respect to the alarming rates of killings, according to them, arbitrary arrest and the detention of several Cameroonians, among them young persons and minors. In a document dated 17th of November 2025, the Citizens Defense Coalition, made up of some 149 lawyers across Cameroon, said that a total of 1,900 people are currently in detention across the country, with some 39 deaths recorded from October 12, 2025, the start of the post-electoral unrest. Esiel Liengu read through the document and compiled the following report.
The Citizens Defense Collective, a network of 149 lawyers across 7 regions of the country, has released a provisional report detailing extensive arrests, deaths, and human rights abuses linked to the post-electoral crisis that began on October 12, 2025. According to the collective, more than 1,900 people are currently detained out of an estimated 2,500 arrests nationwide, including minors aged 14 to 18. In the document, across the 10 regions of the country, the littoral region is the most affected, where 640 arrests have been recorded. 383 of them at the PK 19 facility in Douala, where lawyers say they have been denied access, followed by the East region with 373 detainees, the West region with 397, the Far North region with 191, including 12 minors, and the Center and the South regions with more than 300 arrests, accompanied by significant restrictions on access to counsel. The lawyers also report widespread arbitrary detentions, illegal extensions of custody, obstruction of legal access, and inhumane detention conditions. The collective equally confirmed 39 deaths by gunfire across several regions, with some victims yet to be formally identified. Few teams cite ill treatment of detainees, lack of medical care for those wounded by gunfire, families deprived of information about their relatives, minors held in conditions that violate legal standards. In a statement, the collective, made up of 149 lawyers, calls on national authorities to guarantee immediate access to lawyers and uphold constitutional and international human rights obligations. It also urges institutions, partners, and citizens to support legal assistance efforts, strengthen civic vigilance, and help protect those arrested in the context of the ongoing crisis.
And as we told you in our top stories, the Far North region of Cameroon is slowly rebuilding after facing severe challenges, including desertification, armed attacks, and economic hardship. The RISILAC program is providing vital support to local communities, offering training, resources, and opportunities for young persons to improve their livelihoods and access to basic services. Immaculate Fogwe has more.
The far north region of Cameroon is facing a dire situation. The advancing desert, sporadic attacks by armed groups, and the collapse of agricultural incomes have plunged the population of the Lake Chad Basin into a cycle of poverty and vulnerability. For many young people, the land, livestock, or small trade are often the only ways to survive. But these activities are also hit hard by the crisis. The situation is further exacerbated by the lack of infrastructure, including roads, healthcare facilities, and schools, making it difficult for communities to access basic services. Faced with this situation, young people have been reoriented, trained, and supported in various fields through the RISILAC program. Studies have been conducted to identify the needs of the local population and develop strategies to help them. The goal is to assess the available natural resources and develop sustainable management practices. We aim to empower local communities to manage their resources effectively, improve their resilience to climate change, and enhance their overall well-being. At the heart of this project, a strategy is developed to respond precisely to the needs of the community, a move greatly appreciated by the governor of the region.
Climate change, that's the main difficulties that Fano has been facing beyond the Boko Haram of 10 years. And RISILAC had done a lot in the first step. They are targeting to go over.
According to the beneficiaries, RISILAC program is a beacon of hope for the people of the Far North region, offering a chance to rebuild their lives, access basic services, and achieve their full potential.
And now, Nations Worldwide on November 20th, 2025 to commemorate the Universal Children's Day under the theme, My Day, My Right. On this day, parents and government are called upon to promote and protect children's rights, rights that are well familiar with to children in Cameroon who continue imploring what they say is not the effective standards they should have in terms of the socio-political representation, but also suffering that they are incurring because of the challenges faced by most regions of the country. We have details with Equinoxe.
November 20, Universal Children's Day has as goal the improvement of child welfare worldwide to promote and celebrate children's rights and promote togetherness and awareness amongst all children. While children have numerous rights like the right to be protected from violence and discrimination and the right to life, health and education, we sought to find out during school lessons which they retain.
L'enfant a droit à un refuge. L'enfant a droit à la santé, l'éducation, à la nutrition. L'enfant a droit au loisir. L'enfant a droit à un nom. L'enfant a droit à un acte de naissance.
Though contented with the efforts of their parents and guardians to grant them these rights, these children, with a great understanding of the challenging times, implore their parents to stand firm for them. He would like his parents to keep educating him to be successful in the future and to in turn take care of them.
J'aimerais que ma mère et mon père soient toujours à mes côtés pendant ma réussite, quand j'aurai mon diplôme.
As it is necessary for children to know their rights, some primary schools have integrated this in their curriculum. She says that in the field of human and social science, there exists a discipline titled Rights and Duties of Children, reason why they are versed with all those. Just like other topics, challenges are encountered by teachers like some children slumber during lessons, making it difficult to impact such children knowledge. My Day, My Rights is the 2025 theme for World Children's Day, with UNICEF encouraging the world to actively listen to children, to understand what their lives are like and how their rights are present, missing or pursued every day, promoting children's right to participation.
And onto the economy, poor management has been identified as one of the major factors pushing state-owned companies to bankruptcy or near bankruptcy. A few days ago, we had a report of workers of one of the major companies in Cameroon, that is the state-owned shipyard industrial and engineering company, Chantier Naval, going to the streets in protest against what they say are over 18 months of unpaid salary arrears by their officials. This is the content of the analytical report compiled by staffman Babila Jonathan.
This week, the Cameroon Shipyard and Industrial Engineering Company served as a stark reminder, according to observers, of the poor management of state-owned companies in Cameroon over the past 20 years. Once a public company, renowned for its impressive performance in the naval distribution sector, generating substantial revenue for the state, the shipyard is now near bankruptcy. The decline has become widespread across state-owned enterprises.
Le top management de ces entreprises se fait généralement sur la discrétion.
Analysts like management expert Jean Jaurès Nkapu point to the process of selecting managing directors of the companies as one of the causes of the problem.
Ces entreprises ont un sureffectif.
A study published by Professor Vivian Ondwa Biwole reveals that nearly 70% of the chairpersons of boards of directors of public companies in Cameroon are senior members of the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM political party, and that most of them have been underperforming in their oversight roles.
Le directeur général ou la directrice générale d'une entreprise publique.
Some of the board chairpersons and managing directors have held their positions for up to 20 years in violation of the law. The law of December 1990 on public enterprises, amended in 2017, set the maximum term of office for managing directors at 9 years and 6 years for board chairpersons. Some observers hold the opinion that in an environment rife with questionable practices, it is not surprising that most public enterprises are highly indebted. In a 2022 report, the International Monetary Fund estimated that Cameroon lacks performance targets for its public enterprises and that such companies threaten the country's budgetary stability.
And one of the issues rocking urban parts of Cameroon is irregular habitation. Now, the divisional officer for the Douala 5 subdivision has advised inhabitants who live at the Antenne CRTV neighborhoods of Lokbesu of the subdivision to leave the zone, which is now being considered as a high-risk zone. During a visit to the site, Asongwe Kletos Anuafo said that he will ask his hierarchy to relocate the local inhabitants to safer zones. Simanjikan Gabriel was there and compiled the following report.
A house suspended on a very steep hill caused by erosion. By the side, people struggling to dig out laterite for other uses. We are in the Lokbesu neighborhood, precisely at Antenne CRTV, Douala 5 subdivision, where for some time now, local authorities had stopped activities at this quarry, but unfortunately, it has fallen on deaf ears.
We are here to let them understand that we feel their pain. We know that it's not easy to have land in Douala to build in a successful, constructive environment. But then you should not expose yourself to danger because of your lack of means.
During a visit to the site, which remains very dangerous for the inhabitants, the divisional officer of Douala 5 had time to talk with the people around.
This population that is highly exposed here, that is living in danger here, we came to observe that this place, the landslides that we have here are not only a natural phenomenon, but it's provoked by the population themselves because they do a lot of digging. We came here, we met them actually digging sand to sell, some sell in the form of laterite.
After visiting the zone, which is a risk factor to the inhabitants of Lokbesu neighborhood, the local administrator says,
as I'm living here today, I'm going to send a report to my hierarchy, and I'm also going to talk with the officials of the city council on the possibility of eventually relocating this population to a safer zone.
and to the inhabitants around the zone. He says,
we are calling on the population to stop the kind of activities that only provoke further landslides. Those who can already leave should leave immediately, because where they are, you should not be surprised that the next rain that comes will be coming here to remove corpses.
Even though it's no longer the peak period of rains, the area still remains a high risk to those who are still settling around it.
And that's all for now. Up next is Talking Point. Please stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on Talking Point. Tonight, our guest is Elder Ambassador Justina NGWOBIA. She is a seasoned peace builder and a mediator who has worked extensively with rural and urban communities across the Federal Republic of Nigeria, empowering women, girls, and young people to be actively engaged in dialogue, peace, security, and governance processes. As the Executive Director of Justice, Peace, and Reconciliation Movement leader within the Women Peace Building Network in Nigeria, she is also the co-chair of the Women Peace Mentors and Mediators Forum and founder of the Open Initiative for Youth and Women Empowerment, Justice, and facilitated the mediated complex conflicts across most rural communities, especially that in concerning farmers and herders in rural communities in Nigeria that applies to several parts of Africa. Ambassador, ma'am, thanks for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much, Armstrong.
We indicated that we are receiving you live from Nigeria. Now, we go first. How is Nigeria dealing with the recent attacks in a church? We've had a report of just how armed men stormed a church in Kwara State, where armed men got some persons killed, worshippers, and others abducted.
Thank you very much, my brother Armstrong. It's really a very painful situation for Nigeria and Nigerians at the moment. So many issues happening in so many places at the same time. Schoolgirls kidnapped, a brigadier general shot and killed. Even though I'm in a rural area here, engaging with communities for the past 3 days, but then my little time on the social media, which I've been able to really got some of those information, shows that something really terrible is going on. Just like we had it a few years ago, where the Chibok girls were kidnapped, and up till now, most of them are not yet back. It looks as if the history is repeating itself. This particular group of people have also gone to other communities to kidnap a lot and kill a lot as well.
It's a disturbing situation indeed. Now, how is this being viewed or discussed among Nigerians?
And so some of the things that is really very painful is even the argument in all quarters, whether those that are being killed are Christians or Muslims. I think that was supposed to be the last thing to even say, because the fact remains that human beings are being killed. Humanity is at loss. And so whether it is a Christian or a Muslim that is being killed should not be the issue. It pains my heart when we reason this way. Christians and Muslims are all human beings created by God, and they reside together in Nigeria. Why will we begin to argue whether those that are killed are Christians or Muslims? Is that supposed to be the issue on the table? The issue is people are being killed in numbers in their communities. People sleep before they wake up. They discover that their lives are lost. What can the government do to apprehend those people that are doing this? This is the issue, and this should be the concern. As a mother and a womb of the nation, it pains my heart whenever I hear issues of this nature. Another part of the argument will be that who are the people doing this killing? The reason why maybe some of the Christians are doing this argument to say that, yes, they want to agree that this is a genocide or attack on Christians will be the fact that most of the people that are carrying out this act, when they get there, they will be shouting, Allahu Akbar. And when you hear Allahu Akbar, you will think that this is a shout related to the Muslims. And maybe that is why, because of that kind of shout, the Christians are now saying, yes, the people that are doing that are Muslims. But I want to really make it categorically clear here that we have terrorists in Nigeria. And these terrorist groups are the people that are committing this act.
Evidently, we shouldn't be a major problem of ways finding to bring a lasting solution. Now, I say this because we've seen series of reactions following the declaration of U.S. President Donald Trump that he intended to intervene in Nigeria even through the military means on what he qualified as a genocide against Christians. Does these attacks not justify the genocide claims of U.S. President Donald Trump? Now we want to find out from my ambassador if these concerns do not justify the claims, genocide claims of U.S. President on Christians genocide of U.S. President Donald Trump. We understand that following the announcement placing Nigeria as a country of particular concern, there have been a series of reactions coming from the Nigerian government and also officials in Nigeria. But it seems we've lost her. We shall be coming back to her in subsequent editions of News on Equinoxe television. After discussing the things in Nigeria, we also want to discuss the welfare of the African man, and of course on the days commemorating the International Day of the Men. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we had time for. We thank you for your keen attention. We're sorry for the technical hitches, and take the rendezvous tomorrow for same time on same television network.